Hi, my name is Austin Pratt. Um, I'm doing my database front end on the student loan uh, project, and I used Oracle Apex to get everything together. So I'm going to start by talking about all the different tables and what they have in them, and then I'm going to move on to the forms and the reports. So our loans table, which is our most important, contains our primary key, which is our loan number. It's going to be along the lines of LN001 through 6, having to do with all of our different loans in the database. Then we move on to student number. Student number consists of same schema, SCH001 through 6. We're going to move on to the guarantors ID. These are all the different guarantors that are associated with the different students. Obviously, these are populated through the person that made the database. Lender ID consists of, obviously, all of the different companies that the guarantors work for. So Loan Co, Finance Corp, Bank Corp, and on. Subsidized. This basically is a yes or no if the loan is subsidized or not. But I have the value, or the value is set as 1 or 0, 1 being yes, 0 being no. Interest rate consists, obviously, of the interest that goes into the loans. It spans anywhere from 0.5 all the way to 0.09. Disbursement method. This is basically telling you if the person paid with this with a check or not. Next on is note value. Obviously, this is the value of all the loans that the people would, or the students would acquire, and of course, form date when they got these initial loans. Next, I'm going to move on to the repayment table. Basically, the repayment table has to do with the amount that the students will owe on the beginning date. So, obviously, we have our loan number as our primary key. And then the amount here is, of course, the amount that each student loan owes in that starting that beginning date. From school, obviously, we have our institution name here. We have a few schools here and their addresses. Baking, same thing. We have an account number. Every student has an account number according or located, with their student. Same thing, routing number, and of course their bank name. Locations, this is just, again, simple data. Shows a few cities and a few states. The student is probably our second most important of our tables. We have a zip, and we have a institution ID. We have a payment number, a student first name, student last name, student address, date of birth, phone number, and estimated graduation date. All of these are going to be used in our different forms and reports. Guarantor's name, again, this is just the names of all the guarantors that have to do with that oversee the loans that are being submitted by these students or taken by these students. Lenders, same thing. This is just a table consisting of all the names having to do with that are in the loans table. So obviously the loans takes from the guarantors table, the lenders table, the student table. Yeah. So our first form is our loan origination form. This consists of our loan number, our date, student number. So every student is associated with a different number. Some students have every student, of course, address, city, state, zip. These are all taken directly from the address for a student address. Phone number, obviously taken as well. Date of birth, all of this. This is all according with the student. Institution name. This tells you where the student is going to school. The graduation, of course, when they're supposed to graduate at that school. Their institution address, the address of the school that they go to. Their disbursement method. So this student, John Doe, paid using a card or through their bank account. Routing number, account number, their bank, Chase Bank. They got this loan through the lender, the lender company, Loan Co. Their guarantor number. This is just the number associated with the guarantor, Alice Johnson. And they took out a $5,000 loan. And this loan is subsidized with an interest rate of 0.05%. And it should be the same thing throughout with the rest of the students going through all of the different loans. Next up is the disclosure letter. So every student gets a letter pertaining to when they're supposed to pay their next payment, how many payments they have, and interest rate, and those exact charges being charged. So for the first one here, we have student subject is loan number 1. The date is today's date for the form. So the letter reads, Dear John Doe, according to our records, your guaranteed student loan enters repayment status on January 2025. January 2025 is the begin date, which is located in our repayment table. The total amount that you borrowed was $5,000. Of course, this amount is from our loans table. Your payment schedule includes 25 payments with an interest rate of 0.05. These payments are calculated taking the count or the loan total, the interest rate, and there's some math that goes on that calculates the amount of payments that they need. Your estimated finance charge is $2.75. This is just some more math going on. Your first payment of $200, which this amount comes from our repayment table as well, will be due February 1st, 2025. So the repayment status in January and the amount due in February are, of course, a month apart because this is a monthly payment. So it says your monthly payment will be $200.11, meaning that it just takes the repayment amount and does times adds your interest rate to it. Your last payment is due on February 1st, 2027, so it uses the amount of payments and just calculates the date from when they need to pay, when they need to have the loan completely paid off. Next is the statement of the account. This one is sort of similar to the disclosure letter, but it's more of just a summary of what the loan is, how much has been paid off, that kind of stuff. So it starts right here. Statement number, this takes the number associated with the repayment table, gives, of course, today's date, the student number, the student name associated with that number, of course, their street, their address, their zip code, city, state. Amount due is of course taken from that amount and repayment table, and it's added to with the interest rate, and it says that it's due December 2024. So this is the begin date that's also in the repayment table. Payment method, this tells you that this student John Doe paid, of course, with their bank, through their bank. Amount enclosed, and then the note right here just says $210 will be deducted from your account on January 1st, 2025. So just kind of giving you the dates of when everything's due. Loan summary. This, of course, tells you our loan number, your balance, and your interest rate. And then for office use only, date paid January 1st, 2025. And same thing goes for the rest of the loans. Pretty similar. Tells you the balance, interest rate, loan number for each of the students. Last is the loan activity report. This tells you, this is kind of a more detailed view of the statement of the account. Um, Basically tells you when you're paying your loans, how much you've paid already, how much is left after your payment. So right here we have it basically after one payment has been made. So it gives, of course, our date, our student number, so the name John Doe, address, so street, zip, city, state, payment summary for 2025. So this tells you how much what they've paid since they got that loan. Loan number here, beginning balance, so their loan was for $5,000. The principal amount, which was taken from, this is kind of the amount that like an extra amount that the bank charges, like that you have to pay off when you take a loan, and your interest is another value on top of that. But our end balance is going to be our beginning balance minus our principal amount here, and so that's why it's 4792.50. Date paid, of course, and I'm just going to show the rest of them, rest of the activity reports here. I'll slowly go through, or quickly go through, the statements of the accounts here. Same thing for disclosure letters, so you can see all the letters for the different students. And we'll back to our loan origination forms, which shows you basically a overview summary of everything that I've discussed so far.